Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be learning all about French slang. If you have studied French or live in France, you know that the French use lots of slang words. So today we're going to be learning the slang words, abbreviation, texting vocabulary, everything we need to know about how to speak French like a local and how to structure your sentences to help you sound more French when you talk. Now, disclaimer, I am not French. These are words that I have discovered people using since I've been here, so these may not be words that everybody uses, and some people may use these words more than other people, so I just want to put that out there before anyone comes for me. These are just my experiences of words that I've heard people saying. With that said, let's just jump right into it. So the most common kind of slang that French people use is Verlan, and the word Verlan comes from the French word à l'envers, which means backwards. So you'll see that a lot of French slang words come from pronouncing the correct French word backwards. And Verlan actually came from back in the day when French people wanted to speak in code so that they could hide information from the police or social control forces. So they made up these words so that they could be able to communicate with each other without the feds, the ops, finding out. And since then it's stuck around and it's made its way into daily French conversation. So the first Verlan word is tough. So this is Verlan for the word fête, which means party. So for example, il y a une teuf chez moi ce soir, tu viens? There's a party at my place tonight, you coming? The next word is chelou. This is the Verlan for the word louche, which means like sketchy, shady, weird. So for example, il est chelou ce mec. He's shady, this guy. He's weird, he's sketchy, the vibes are off. And then we have relou, which is the Verlan for lourd, which means heavy. But in this sense, we don't use it as heavy as like,
oh, this is such a heavy bag to carry.
It's more of like annoying, or like it's weighing on me. It's heavy in a sense of it's weighing on me, it's annoying. So for example, you can tell someone, t'es relou, you're annoying, or il est relou, he's annoying, or c'est relou, it's annoying. Next word we have is ouf. This one is super common. I guarantee you will hear this in conversation in French. This one is Verlan for the word fou, which means crazy. Ouf can be used as a good thing. For example, ah, c'est ouf. Like, wow, that's crazy. Or it can be used for a bad thing as well. Like, ah, c'est ouf. Ah, that's terrible. The next word is vénère. So this is the inverse of énervé, which means angry or mad. And it's used in the same sense. So, ah, je suis vénère. I'm angry. And then we have cimer, which is the inverse of merci. This one, to be honest, I don't hear very often, but I've heard that it is very common, especially in the younger generation. So if you have younger friends or you're younger, then maybe you'll use this word. The next Verlan word we have is meuf. So this is the inverse of femme, which means girl. It's kind of like chick. So it's like, it's a really informal way to address a girl. And you can use this between girlfriends as well, like, ah, ça va meuf? Like, hey girl, you good? What's going on? It's the same. Mec. Mec is slang for a guy or a dude. You could say, ça va mec? Or c'est mon mec is like a way to introduce, like, this is my boyfriend. But it's very informal and it's not very nice to introduce someone like that. But you could say that if it was like a very informal situation. Kiffer. Kiffer means to like. Ah, je kiffe ce mec. Oh, I like that guy. Or je kiffe ton style. I like your style. Laisse tomber. This one is very common. Another one that I can guarantee you'll hear in France. It means like, leave it alone, forget about it. If you're in an argument with someone and you're done talking about it, you could just say, laisse tomber, forget it. Grave. This one is used very often here as well. Grave is used as like something serious. Most of the time it's used in a bad connotation, but it can also be used in a positive sense as well. For example, if something's a really serious situation, you could say, c'est grave. Or if you see a girl that's really pretty, you can say, ah, elle est grave belle. Or il fait grave chaud, non? Grave can also be used as like an agreement to something, or a way to be like, totally, I agree. For example, if your friend is telling you a story and you agree with what she's saying, you could just say, grave. Like, I agree, totally, you're right. Wesh. So this one is also very common, very informal. It's used a lot by the younger generation as well. I don't think I've ever personally used this word, but I hear it all the times in songs, and I see people writing this on Twitter and like in Instagram comments and stuff. So I know people are saying it, it's just not me who's saying it. But this word kind of means like, yo. It could be like in the beginning of a greeting. So like, wesh, ça va? Yo, you good? What's up? What's happening? Faire dodo. So this one I used to say to my little baby host kids when I was an au pair all the time. It means to go to sleep. So faire is the verb for to make or to do, and dormir is the verb to sleep. So dodo is just short for dormir. So faire dodo is to go to sleep. For example, t'es fatigué, tu veux faire dodo? Are you tired? Do you want to sleep? Pote. Pote means friend. So you could say c'est mon pote, je suis avec mes potes. Bosser. This is slang for the verb to work. The formal verb to work in French is travailler. So bosser means the exact same thing, it's just a slang word. For example, tu bosses ce soir? Do you work tonight? Or je dois bosser ce soir. I have to work tonight. Taf or boulot both also mean work. Je vais au boulot. I'm going to work. Les flics, which means cops. Bordel, which literally translates to brothel, but in French it's meant as a large mess. The most common phrase you would hear with this word is c'est quoi ce bordel? What is this mess? Un truc means a thing. C'est un truc de ouf. So it's a crazy thing. We also have lots of filler words in French. So words that don't really mean anything, but we just throw them in the sentence anyways. We have the word un. So this is meant as like huh or right. So you could use it if someone says something and you don't hear them, you could say or if you want someone to agree with you after the end of your question or the end of your sentence, you could be like, elle est belle, hein? She's pretty, huh? Or il fait chaud, hein? It's hot, huh? Quoi? Quoi is the word for what in French, but it's also used in a sentence just as like kind of another filler word just to emphasize your sentence. So for example, if you're telling a story, you could at the end you would say c'était fou quoi. It was crazy. Like it was really crazy. It just emphasizes your statement, I guess. Then we have the word genre, which is like the French equivalent to like. A lot of times this is thrown in a sentence when people are trying to think of the next word. They'll say genre and then the word that they're thinking of. So it just means like. Of course, the famous French people use this all the time. So if you're trying to think of a word and you can't think of anything, just say and you'll sound like a French native. In French, most of the words are very long or have a bunch of accents, are complicated to write out, and people are lazy, so they use abbreviations when texting. These are some of the most common abbreviations that you should know. The most common is MDR, which is the equivalent to LOL. MDR stands for mort de rire, which means dying of laughter. So it's literally the same as LOL. You'll see this all the time in French. BCP, which stands for beaucoup, which means a lot. AUJ, which stands for aujourd'hui. So aujourd'hui is a very long word and it means today. So most of the time when people are texting, they'll just say AUJ. TJS stands for toujours, which means always. QDN, which stands for quoi de neuf, which means like what's up, what's new, how's it going, what's the news. PK, which stands for pourquoi, which means why. STP or SVP, which stands for s'il te plaît, STP, which is the informal way to say please, or s'il vous plaît, SVP, which means please in a formal sense. DSL, which stands for désolé or sorry. RDV stands for rendezvous. We use this word in English sometimes as well. It's like a meetup, and French more commonly is used for like an appointment. A with a plus sign stands for à plus tard, which means like see you later, à plus. BIZ, which is short for bisous. So most of the time people will put this at the end of their text or the end of their email as like a sign off. Like in French, when you say goodbye to someone, you give them la bise. So this is the same thing. It's a way to sign off of a text. SLT, which is short for salut, which is like hi, hey. It's like an informal way to say hello. TFQ, this stands for tu fais quoi, or what are you doing. TKT, this is short for t'inquiète. T'inquiète means don't worry, and the formal way to say this is ne t'inquiète pas, but most commonly in spoken French people just say t'inquiète, and in abbreviated French it's TKT or TQT. CC, this one is super common, you'll see this all the time. This stands for coucou, which is like salut, coucou, it's the same. It's a way to say hello. QQ, chose, this stands for quelque chose, which means something. QQ, quelquefois means sometime. QQUN, which stands for quelqu'un, which means someone. OKLM, which is an abbreviation for au calme, which means like chillin'. Like, je suis à la maison, au calme, chillin', OKLM. Sometimes people will put just the letter C for c'est, and equally you can use si plus ça for c'est ça, like that's it. And also people sometimes use ti plus the word ou for t'es où, like where are you? And we have some combining words. So in French we say je suis to say I am, but when we're speaking it kind of blends together really fast, so we end up saying suis. So instead of je suis chez moi, I am at my place, it would be je suis chez moi, I'm at my place. This is the same for the tu form, so instead of saying tu es méchant, you are mean, we would say t'es méchant. So it kind of blends together to become one word instead of two. So now you are ready to send all the French text messages that your little heart desires. If there's any French slang words that you know that I did not mention, feel free to leave them down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something, and see you in the next video. Ciao!